First Peter, chapter 5, verse 8. Be sober and vigilant. Your opponent, the devil, is prowling around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. Your opponent. He doesn't just say the devil. He says your opponent. And why am I wearing this mask? This face that you see has a little smirk on it. Right? This is the face of a real man. His name is Guy Fawkes. And Guy Fawkes was a Catholic man who thought he was doing the right thing. And the right thing was to try to blow up all of English Parliament. The entire government of England. Until he got caught. Now, the thing is that this mask that I have on, we wear masks every day. We hide behind smiles and we talk about it, but it's time to take the damn mask off. It's time to take it off. Because guess what? At the end of the day, what happens is that we're wearing a smile, but we're dying inside. We have anxiety, we have depression, we have pain that we're carrying on our shoulders and our hearts. We need to stop lying to ourselves. It says, your opponent, the devil, you are in spiritual battle. These vices are destroying your life. And if virtue and all things that are good come from God, obviously all these vices don't come from Him. All these times that you feel that you're like alone, why do you think you feel that way? Because the devil knows that you are a soldier for God, and he wants you. Amen. He wants you specifically. He wants you, he wants you, he wants you, he wants you. He wants everybody in this room. Because all those people that are outside, think about it. You're here on a Sunday after Mass, and you're here investing your time, taking your time to learn more, to grow more, where everybody else is hanging around in the world. But guess what? You have been chosen. You've been chosen by God to be a soldier, to be on the front line, to be ready for war, prepared for battle. Now, are you going to stay on the floor? Are you going to keep dealing with your bad habits? Or are you going to step up? Because there's nothing wrong with falling down and slipping and messing up and feeling alone. The problem is when you're on the floor, if you're going to stay on the floor. Are you going to keep fighting? Are you going to continue to be brave, to be heroic? That's the issue. The devil wants your soul because you are meant for greatness. Everybody here is meant for greatness. He already has the guy that's selling drugs. He already has the guy that's using drugs. He already has those people that are addicted to sex. He has them. You know who he doesn't have? 100%. He may have had you at one time. Might still be bothering you, but he doesn't have you now. He doesn't have you now. That's why he wants you. If you have something, you don't care about it. How many of you guys have objects and possessions that you've had for a very, very long time that you don't use anymore? Show me by a show of hands. Now, how many of you guys have things that you want one day? Whether it's a house, whether it's a car, whether it's anything. You want that. You'll chase after that because you don't have it. And that's what happens. That's what happens. He's going to chase after you. He's going to start doing all types of things in your life, isolating you to try to get you to conquer you. And he's going to use all these little vices, all these little things to get to you. Because guess what? There's something called spiritual combat, right? And you are in the middle of a war, whether you believe it or not. It's just the truth. That conscience, that little voice in the back of your head that tells you that's not right, that right there, what do you think that is? That's your soul trying to talk to you, or trying to tell you, listen, snap out of it. Snap out of it. Get up. Wake up. Because there's a saying, If you're not being attacked by the devil, you're walking with him.
Yeah.
And guess what? The fact of the matter is, he's going to be kicking your butt all up and down the street. Because he kicks my butt all up and down the street all the time. He does it all the time. He's doing it today. He did it yesterday. He's been doing it, I don't even know. And at a certain point in time, it won't even be you that's affected. He's going to start using the people around you. Like what he does to me, he uses my family against me. He'll use people that I'm related to get to me and mess with me, right? I remember trying to come to God in 2009, but I couldn't. Because as I was walking in, at least I was attempting to walk into the path of God, I kept having family members messing with me, pulling me away, trying to make me turn back into who I was. And guess what? I became that person. I became that person. But because we're in spiritual combat, I have like 10 points that I want to address to help us. All right, give me 1 second, excuse me. I'm a little bit thirsty right now. 10 points that I want to address to help you. First, we have to meditate what our weakness is. If your weakness is lust, stop turning on your computer or your phone and watching porn. Or watching movies that are going to get you like hot and bothered. Stop listening to crazy things. Stop watching Cardi B on Instagram. For real. Let's be real. Because she's just a product of what she's been exposed to. And it's funny because like I was showing a video yesterday by someone of her saying that, you know what, I know I need to change. Because kids look up to me. Right? And the thing is that she understands that. She gets it. That's her soul speaking to her through her consciousness. But she said, literally, it ain't today. I'm not changing today. People like her because of her craziness, her outgoing nature. But imagine if that outgoing nature just flipped itself on his head. And if she was doing things in the name of God. Would she get that much attention?
No, probably not.
Would people really care about who Cardi B really is?
No.
No. They'll look at her like, oh, she'll be back. She'll mess up. I'm kind of old. So there's a guy named Mace. He was a rapper. Who's ever heard of Mace? Right? Okay, at least I'm not alone.
You too.
Right? So Mace was a successful rapper on top of the world, and he just left and found God and became a pastor. They started calling him Pastor Mace. But sooner or later, he fell. And when he fell, people were like, see, we knew he'd mess up. We knew he'd miss all this stuff. Then he went back. And like, oh, he went back. And his church was really hard and to try to accept him again, reluctant. But they accepted him. And then unfortunately, he fell again. And that is where he is now. He couldn't break away from the things of the world to break away from his past. We have to assess what our weakness is, right? Anybody that ever watches like any sports, like basketball, football, baseball, boxing, you start looking at footage. And when you look at this footage, you start trying to assess the weakness of the other person, to try to conquer the other person, right? You better believe that the devil knows every weakness that you have in your heart, in your mind. You better believe it.
Right.
That tiny little thing that no one knows, he knows it. He knows it because he's the one tempting you with it. He's the one messing with you. He's the one trying to get you to go backwards. He wants you, right? We have to meditate upon our weakness. Number 2, we have to beg God. I'm not saying to ask God. You need to beg. When you're begging, you're desperate. You need to beg God because you can't do it alone. I don't care who you think you are. Remember pride being the first sin that we know of, and stubbornness? We need to be able to be humble and beg, like, listen, I can't do this. I remember the day that I gave my life to God, I literally said to God, that's it, I give up, I surrender. Those are the exact words I said, and I had a woman sitting right in front of me while I was crying, looking at me like I'm a weirdo. Right? She's like, what's going on? You okay? What's wrong? Are you sure? She didn't understand my journey that took over a year. It took over a year for me to get to that point. Well, I understood at that moment, I can't do this by myself anymore. And God put people in my life. And when He put these people in my life, they're the ones that helped me because I couldn't do it alone. I didn't even know how to pray. But the funny thing is that as I was begging God to help me stay like clean and like have a good life, the devil was messing with me like crazy. I used to have rosaries on. My wife would tell you. Well, there's some people here that may know my wife. But my wife would tell you. All the rosaries I used to have on my neck would pop. Literally just explode off my neck. Or Jesus would fall off. Or the cross would snap in half. Or I'd have it laying somewhere and it'll randomly fall on the floor and break. I went through almost 15 rosaries. 15 of them. Until I got one like this. With a St. Benedict medal. And when I got one like this, by the person that was walking that path with me for a year as my mentor in faith. And he was a lot younger than I was. And it took me swallowing my pride to be able to handle that, because I'm like, yo, you're mad. You're supposed to be my son. Like son, not like my child, but more like, street son, like my son. Right? You're supposed to be like under me. But that was my pride talking. I had to humble myself and say, you know what? You know a lot more about God than I do. Because I lost my faith when I was like 14 years old. I remember not caring about God. I remember not wanting to go to church and sneaking out the back. Going 2 blocks up to hang out with my friends while they're out there smoking weed or going play, to go play PlayStation 2 or something, and then showing up back up at the end of Mass. Right? This is me as a kid. I wasn't engaging into these activities, but I'm around them. So if the police would have showed up, guess what? I'm just as guilty as they are. Right? You need to pray, 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 pray. If you're stressed out and you're angry, I don't care what's going on. You just better stop and pray. You're in the car, turn the music off. Pray. If you're getting tempted, shut the world off. We have like Beats headphones that like create like this sonic thing, and that you don't hear anything that's going on around you because you hear music the way it's supposed to be heard, right? Literally, put on your spiritual headphones on. Block the world out and pray. You have to. You have to. Because how else is God going to help you if you don't ask and beg for that help? You know what I mean? How else? Thank you, bro. Oh. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, this one's for you. Thank you. Number 3. Distrust your strength. Don't think you're strong enough, because you're not. You definitely aren't strong enough to do this by yourself. To let go of all the vices in your life, because it's a lot of them. Remember when I said drugs? That drugs isn't just substance, right? You need to let go and let God. We say that all the time. Let go and let God. But the thing is, we don't let go. Because we think that we're strong enough. We think we can handle it. Oh, no, I'll be good. I'll be good tomorrow. Even though in the back of your mind you know you're not good, but you're too prideful to tell people like something's wrong. You don't want to get people involved, right? Don't trust your own strength. Like, who here has ever lifted weights? Anybody? I have a couple of ladies here. She's like, yeah. Right? When you lift weights, there's someone called a spotter, right? Who's ever lifted up a lot of weight that you needed a spotter? Right? You're pretty strong girl. She's like, yup, me. Right? Why do you need a spotter? Because you know if something goes wrong, that person's going to save your butt. So that weight doesn't come down on you. Right or wrong? God is your spotter. He's supposed to be there for you. You can't do this by yourself. And guess what? God is going to put people in your life. And those might be your spotters. Those people that walk side by side with you, walk through all your storms with you, those are supposed to be the people that are going to pick you up, say, hold on. I'm not sure who's ever bench pressed and had a spotter, right? But for those that bench press, you go to the gym a lot, right? He's like, yeah.
No.
He's like a buff, right? You go to the gym a lot. Have you guys ever had, you like been struggling, you're like this, you're like halfway up and your arms are shaking, right? What happens if it comes down? It's gonna go where? On your chest or on your neck? If it goes down in your neck and it's a lot of weight, you're in big trouble, right? That person that God sends in your life, that person is your spotter. And we're gonna get more into that. We're gonna get into that. Examine ourselves in order to discover our vulnerable points. This goes back to the first one. Meditate on your weakness, right? But you may be weak, but if you start examining the tiny little things, like micromanaging your life, you know, like with me, it was music. I grew up on hip hop. Like I really grew up on loving hip hop, not loving hip hop, like loving it. And I recall sang in a group. I went to a young adult group, and I was like, man, this really sucks. I can't listen to music anymore because I have to listen to the same old 5 or 6 songs, and they get really boring because every other Christian person I listen to sucks, right? That was my weakness. But I had to be willing to let go of it for a while. And I'm really big into like battle rap, right? I like seeing like, the competition of it, the wittiness, you know, the punchlines. And I recall like one of my favorite rappers of all time was in a battle rap. Like, you have to see this, you have to see this. And I'm like, no, I can't do it. Why not? I can't do it. Yo, stop being stupid, bro. It's just a battle. Nah. And I was being ridiculed over it. At the end of the day, I'm like, nah, you don't get it. And if you don't get it, you don't get me. I need you to leave me alone right now. I know what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. All right? So discover our vulnerable points. By you doing that, you have to be able to transition and go to confession. Now, I'm pretty sure this applies to everybody because it applied to me a ton of times. When you go to confession, what happens? I don't want to confess with that guy right there because I go to this church, he's going to be celebrating Mass like, yo, I know what you did. And like he's consecrating the host, you know, all of a sudden like in his brain, yeah, I know what you did, son. Like, you better not come up here. Like, you start thinking all this other stuff. I'm going to go to the other church. I'm going to the other church. I don't know about you, but me, it's happened to me tons of times. Like, yo, I feel kind of embarrassed right now. I'm going to look this guy in the face. I see him all the time. He's going to have that in the back of his head. But I'll tell you this much. Thanks be to God. Like, God gives priests like a certain kind of grace. And I know this to be a fact because I'm a spiritual director. And I forget everything. Like, there's things that people have to remind me on a regular basis. Like, yo, I said this. Remember last time? I was like, no. You remember what you did yesterday? No. I literally don't remember things, right? But priests, because they hear so many confessions from so many people, they forget. Like, God gives them something, like, there's just something about them that's like, hey, I don't have this in my mind anymore. It's whatever. You know, you messed up, guess what? I messed up too, and they get it. The bad thing is when we don't go to confession. The bad thing is when we're too ashamed. I've known people that go to confession, and they're like, man, and they're there for like an hour. And I'm sitting down, and I'm just like, sheesh, dude, you're taking forever. Like, hurry up. Like, Mass is about to start. I've been sitting here for 5,000 hours, and there's like 4 people ahead of me. You know, cut it out. And they walk out, and they say hi to me. They're like, yo, I feel like I took a bath for the first time in a really long time. I haven't felt like that in a really, really long time. You know, I feel clean for once. And then I start saying to myself, okay, you need to shut up and be thankful that person feels that way. You'll get another chance. God knows your intention. And I've been times I haven't confessed. And then I'll grab the priest right after Mass. Yo, listen, I know you're busy, but I need you to confess me right now. And I didn't receive communion because I couldn't confess. So if you be so kind, please allow me to receive communion. And if you can, he will.
I got a quick question about that. I heard you can receive communion if you confess right after Mass. Is that correct or incorrect?
After Mass? Yeah, he'll give it to you.
No.
You cannot?
You can receive communion without confessing and then confess after Mass.
Technically you can, but you're not supposed to because it's kind of like this. Let's just say I go to your house, right? And your house is all white. I'm not sure if anybody has like a mom or grandma that like has everything like immaculate and they have like plastic on the couches and all that stuff. Like, I'm Dominican, I was raised with plastic on my couches, right? So what happens is that if everything is really, really nice and clean, what sense would it make for me to say, hey, what's up? I just finished playing like tackle football in mud, and I go in like to your house and I sit on the couch. You're gonna tell me, go home, take a shower, get dressed, and clean yourself up, because my mom was gonna kick my butt, right or wrong. So and what happens with this situation is that you can do it, but you're adding another sin to your soul. You're gonna have to confess that you did it, right? Because the Eucharist, it takes away your venial sin, right? Let's say you get to Mass late. In the beginning of Mass, we say a prayer, like in English, it says, I confess to Almighty God and to you, my brothers and sisters, that I've gravely sinned, in my thoughts and in my words, and what I've done and what I failed to do, through my fault, through my most grievous fault. At this point, the priest is literally absolving your small venial sins, so you can be prepared to receive communion. But let's just say you get there late. The Eucharist itself wipes off all those sins. But when you have mortal sins in your soul, and you haven't confessed, and you weren't able to confess, God knows your intention. But God also knows, you know what? Wait. Just wait a little while. Confess, and the priest will eventually get to you. Right? And there's been times I'm like, sheesh, I didn't get to take the Eucharist, I didn't get to like have God within my soul, like spiritual nourishment. And I felt bad, but like, you know what? At least I know I did the right thing in my heart. So technically you can, but it's not the right thing to go about doing it in that way. You know what I'm saying? Because God will forgive you for it. Especially if you go to confess afterwards. Right? So, confession. This is going to be a good one. Remember, pride, stubbornness. You better. Remember I told you, your spotter, I'll get back to the spotter. You better have a spiritual director. You better have one. Because you're going to, remember I said the devil's going to be kicking your butt all up and down the street? What do you think is going to help see you through that? Who do you think is going to walk with you to try to help guide you through all the problems that you have? It is not easy. It is not easy. And I remember being prideful myself. And the thing is that I'm very thankful that I have the spiritual director that I have. I don't see him often because he's so busy. And I'm like, I don't need one. Until I'm like, okay, I definitely know that I need one now. And it'll be a while that, like I hit him up not too long ago, like I need to speak to you. And our schedules just don't coincide. But I appreciate him so much because he keeps it so real with me. He keeps it real with me to the point, he's a priest. And he'll say, you're an idiot. Stop being an ass. You're foolish. He will just tell me what I need to say, what he needs to say, just like that. Things that someone else says to me, I'll get offended over. Or I'll who do you think you are? Why are you talking to me that way? Because sometimes we need to be slapped in the face. We need to catch that slap in the face and be told you're doing the wrong thing. I don't care what you think the right thing is. You're doing the wrong thing. So stop being a jackass. And it literally has been told, they've been said that to me. Stop being a jackass. Right? We need a spiritual director. Because guess what? You can't get to confession every single time, just like on the snap of your fingers. Right? And on top of that, even if you're going through confession, there's still things in your past. Your spiritual director has to be like your best friend. He's your diary. Or she is your diary. Your spiritual director is a diary to you. They're supposed to be the person that you confide in the most, other than your confessor, because I'm a spiritual director, right? Why do I say that? Because I've literally taken formation classes through the seminary to be a spiritual director. And what happens is that there's this document that they give priests. It's called a confessor. So what you learn in regards to confessing people, you learn in spiritual direction, because you're being told the most intimate details of people's lives. And you have to learn to zip it. You can't share any of that. I don't care how close you think I am. Like, my wife is my wife. She's my right hand, she's my backbone, she's my everything, but I don't tell her crap. Matter of fact, I got into a discussion with her yesterday, right? I'm going to tell somebody else, and I'm sorry for saying this, right? Like, I'm her spiritual director, right? Sorry. And yesterday, she wasn't feeling too good when she was in my house. You know, and she's coughing, and I'm like, oh, she's gonna catch the flu or something. And Lane was there. And what happened is that I started telling my wife, I'm gonna text her to make sure she doesn't go to this like vigil. Well, what do you think you are? That's why I get upset at you. And we got into like this discussion. And I said, you know what? This is the issue. You don't know what I know. You don't know what I know, and you don't understand what I understand as to why I'm saying these things. I cannot elaborate and go into detail about certain things, but trust me. And then eventually I text messaged her, and she text messaged me back right before Lane like left. And she's like, I'm not going. And I was just like, ha! Told you so. Told you so. It's like, no, it's just because it's because you don't get it. Your relationship with that person, like girls growing up tend to have like these diaries with little locks on them, right? Who's ever had a diary like that, or known anyone had a diary with a lock on it, right? She's like, yeah. Who had the diary with the master lock on it, right?
Mine had strength.
Your relationship with that person.
Heavier than the book.
Robin, you have one too?
No, I said the lock is heavier than the book.
Yeah. So it's like your relationship with that person. Look at the fact that person is your diary with the lock.
Yes.
And if their mouth opens up, that means the lock was unlatched. And it's definitely not of God. You're supposed to trust them fully because that person, the only issue if it's not a priest, I can't absolve her sin. Only thing I can do is you got to get your butt to a priest like now. And give her the advice to do what she needs to do. Right? So, you need one. I don't care how prideful and stubborn or hard-headed or how much strength you think you have spiritually, you're going to get your butt handed to you day in and day out. You need your spotter. That is your spotter. You need the person to walk with you, to be that guy, to be that crutch. Right? The crutch helps you walk when your leg is messed up. That person helps you walk. Because I'll tell you this much. I would not be standing here if it wasn't for my spiritual director or the person that was mentoring me, that walked with me for an entire year. So, you need a spiritual director. How else? He's going to teach you what it is to love yourself first. Because how else do you love yourself? Because of the fact that you're falling in love in a relationship with God. He's trying to get you closer to God, or she's trying to get you closer to God. All right. Build a community that has your back. No two-faced people. No people that are going to tempt you. If you have a friend, and I don't care how much of a friend this person is, if you have a friend that tempts you, that you love them, like with all your heart, this is my friend, this is my girl, this is my boy, yo, your cutoff game better be crazy. It's funny because I saw someone's Instagram like this morning and said, yo, my cutoff game is strong. I don't want any negative people in my life. And I was just like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The thing is that who's ever eaten crabs before?
Crabs yesterday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Slade, what are you doing? Turn that thing off. And like, put it in the bowl. All right. So, who's ever eaten crabs? All right.